Hello, and welcome to my favorites and worst books of 2021. Usually I do these videos separately. I do my favorites of the year and my least favorite books of the year, aka the worst. But I don't have that many of each, so I just decided to join them in one video because that made sense. I have 5 of each, so let's just get started. I'm going to start with my favorites because that makes more sense to me. So first on my favorites list is Every Heart a Doorway by Seanan McGuire. Just this one, not the whole series. I read this right at the beginning of the year and I really loved it. The fact that I read it at the beginning of the year and it was one of my favorites is kind of cool. 2 books that I read at the beginning of the year are my favorites, so that's a little bit weird. But this, if you don't know what this book is about, it is sort of like if Alice in Wonderland came back from Wonderland and she didn't know what to do, she goes to this special school for people who have been to a different world and don't know how to adapt themselves again to the real world. This book I loved so much. I loved the mystery aspect of the book, kind of. I loved Jack and Jill so much. I loved everything about this book. Obviously, they're my favorites. Highly recommend this series, but especially this first book. So, yeah. So, the other book that I read at the beginning of the year, which is one of my favorites, is Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J. Maas. This is huge. It's almost 1,000 pages. I annotated it, loved it, cried like 4 times, just loved it. Amazing. If you don't know what this series is about, even though it's really popular, the series is called Throne of Glass. It's about a girl called Selena, I don't remember. And she is sort of an assassin. Yeah, that's literally all you need to know. There's also magic and a lot of beautiful men in this series. The series is really long. It's all of those books over there. I think there are 9? Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 books. And the last one is 1,000 pages, so before you go into it, just keep that in mind. But this was amazing. Cried, loved it. Chef's kiss, just so good. The next book is, again, part of a series, but I'm not including the whole series, and is Nevernight by J. Kristoff. This is about another assassin girl. There's a trend. But this follows Mia, and she really wants to be part of this assassin, not cult, group, let's say, that is called the Red Church, and she really wants to go there and become a blade, which is an assassin for that organization. I think that's the word I was looking for. And there's that, yeah. I guess that's how you explain this. I love this so much. Amazing. No words. This is the best thing ever. This one. The last one was a disappointment, but this one was so good. I love the love interest. I love the main character. I love the other characters. I love the competition aspect, which is one of my favorite things. Loved this. This is so good. Amazing. And the last 2 books are basically one book divided in 2, which are the 2 books of My Brother's Husband by Gengaro Tagami. I don't know how to say his name, I'm so sorry. But this is amazing. It is about a man whose twin brother married another man, and that twin brother dies, so the brother's husband comes to Japan to visit the dead brother's family. That is so confusing. There's a really good conversation about gay men and not being straight in Japan, and I really loved it. I loved how the main character went from being really weirded out about the relationship between his brother and his brother's husband, and to the end where he's accepting, and oh my god, I cried. This is so good. I love this. I said that about all of them, but they're my favorites, so you get it. Now on to the books that I did not like at all. There are 5, even though I did hate a bunch of books. I just chose 5 because, yeah. I'm going to start with the books that I did rate 2 stars, which technically isn't that bad, but it's still bad. The first one is Solitaire by Alice Oseman, which really made me sad, to be honest, because I love Alice Oseman in general, so not liking this book was sad to me because it follows Tori, which is the sister of Charlie, which is from the Heartstopper series, which I love. Anyways, I did not like this. I really hated Tori as a main character, did not like it. And this story has sort of a mystery aspect because there's a person called Solitaire, and we don't know who it is, except that I literally predicted from the beginning who it was, so that was trash. And it wasn't even that fun. I hated this so much. I'm sorry, Alice, but this was not it. The next book that I did not like and gave it 2 stars was It Only Happens in the Movies by Holly Byrne. I thought I was gonna love this. I don't know why. I even requested it on NetGalley before it came out, and then I bought it. So that's saying a lot. I really hated this. The only reason I gave it a 2 stars was because of the ending. The ending, to me personally, was really significant, I guess. I wish I'd had this earlier on in my life, even though it was terrible. That last scene redeemed it slightly, a little bit. That's why I give it a 2 and not a 1 or a 0. But this was so bad. I hate the characters. I hate the love interest. It was just all kinds of bad. Do not read this, in my opinion. Don't. If you like this, I'm happy for you, but this was so bad for me. No. And the last of the 3 books that I gave 2 stars is The Sky is Everywhere by Jen D. Nelson. I did not like this at all. The main characters sucked, in my opinion. I hated the love triangle. Usually I do hate love triangles, but this was just peak infuriating. Hated it. The words like WTFosaurus really pissed me off. I don't like poems, and this is filled with poems. Bad ones. Yeah, I just didn't like it. It was really cringy and gross, and I don't like it. I'm sorry. I loved the other book that I read by Jen D. Nelson, I'll Give You the Sun. Really good. This one? No. No. So bad. Hated it. No. The next 2 books, I gave both of them 1 stars. The last one that I'm going to talk about is my worst book. So, the first book that I gave 1 stars to is Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. At the beginning of last year, I really wanted to make a goal for myself of reading at least 1 classic a year because I want to read them. I haven't read a classic in a long time. This was the first one that I read. Maybe a mistake. But whatever. It was short. I did not like this at all. Alice was the most annoying character, dumb. I know she's supposed to be a child, but so annoying. I couldn't stand her at all. I didn't like the story. I prefer the movies so much more than this. I just did not like this. Yeah, whatever. And the last book that was part of my worst books of 2021, and which is the #1 worst book that I've read. Maybe not in my life, but last year at least. It's up there with all of the books that I've ever read that were terrible. It's probably in the top 5. I'm not gonna lie. I hated it, and it's called Love Life by Nancy Peach. I read it because it was an ARC. Mistakes were made. The romance I hated. They had 0% chemistry. No romance. Where was it? I don't know. I didn't like the main characters. I did like 2 side characters. I think it was the cat and the mother, which a cat is better than the main characters. I hated that the main character had voices in her head. The male voice in her head was problematic, so problematic, hated it. The main character has bulimia, so there was a whole problematic moment with that character. I couldn't. And also, speaking of bulimia, I feel like it was added just to give the character a weird struggle, because it was never addressed. I don't know. I didn't like it, and I also hated the fact that every single character cheated on their significant others, so just, no. So bad, hated it. Worst book of 2021, by far. Yeah, my rant is done. Cool. I don't have a favorite book, because I cannot choose favorites. Worst, for sure. Done. You already know which one it was. Favorites, it's harder for me, so just, they're all equal. They're equally good. Recommend all of them. I don't recommend these. If you liked these books, I'm really happy that you did. I just didn't. If you hated these books, I'm really sad that you did. But I love them. But that is everything for today, and I'll see you in my next weird video. Bye!